first, the Trump administration says, we're not going to be funding you. Then 2, Harvard sues the Trump administration, right? Then 3, Trump's administration, irate at Harvard, plans to pull additional $1 billion in funding. This is the page 3 Wall Street Journal, Rob. It looks like you got a video here. I'll read this, and then if you want to play the clip. The Trump administration, furious after Harvard publicly released a long list of demands sent on April 11th, plans to pull an additional $1 billion in health research funding. The demands included federal government oversight of admissions, hiring, and the ideology of students and staff. Harvard's president, Alan Garber, stated, the intention is not to work with us to address anti-Semitism in a cooperative and constructive manner, and confirmed we will not accept their proposed agreement. The administration, initially planning leniency, now seeks to pressure Harvard from more than Columbia University. Harvard's release of the demands letter from the Task Force to Combat Anti-Semitism, which was not marked private, positioned the university as a face of resistance. The administration froze $2.26 billion in funding and threatened Harvard's tax-exempt status and international student enrollment. Go ahead, Rob.
What they did was a disgrace. They're obviously anti-Semitic, and all of a sudden they're starting to behave. But when you see what they were saying, what they were doing, when you see the way they took care of events, when you watch that woman, that horrendous president that ruined the image of Harvard, maybe permanently.
He's not wrong.
In Congress, in the halls of Congress, when you take a look at what happened
Gay
there.
was her name, I believe?
Yeah.
It was horrific. And, I've looked at a lot having to do with it. I'm not involved in it. It's being handled by lawyers. I read about it just like you did. But tax-exempt status, I mean, it's a privilege. It's really a privilege. And it's been abused by a lot more than Harvard, too. By a lot more than Harvard. So we'll see how that all works out. I don't think they've made a final ruling.
Tom.
I don't believe they've made a final ruling, but it's...
Go for it, Tom.
So we have to remember where this started. This didn't start with Trump. This started with, Jewish students on campus not being protected, and then a president sitting in front of Congress admitting by saying, oh, I'm not answering that question, that's not what we've done, but admitting it. And then she, suffers a consequence when she goes back because he's right. And now what they're saying is look, you seem to say you're a private institution when that works for you. And now you're upset at me. This is public money. This money that they're getting from the U.S. government for research or whatever they're doing at the university started with the taxpayers, started with you. You gave $4 to Harvard last year, Vinny. You just don't know it, right? I mean, you take a look at the hundreds of millions of dollars that went there.
Vinny?
You're not?
You give money to Harvard last year?
No, I didn't.
No.
Yes,
No,
you
but
did.
through your
$4.
tax
I did?
money.
In your taxes.
Literally, that's what he's saying.
That's not
$4
cool.
in your
Public
taxes.
money is out of your taxes that they collected. $2.26 billion of it went to Harvard last year. So you're probably $4 of it or $20
I'm not happy.
of it.
I'm not happy with
Go
it.
ahead, Tom.
There you go. And so Harvard likes to say, oh, we're private. Leave us alone. We're private. And then the government is saying, okay, well, then you go live your private life. I'll just turn off this valve and I'm not going to send you this money. And they're like, wait a minute. Right? It reminds me, of, you can't live in two worlds. And Harvard's trying to live in two worlds right now. And they are getting called out. But what they're getting called out is the onion's getting peeled back. You had the Yale case where Yale got sued by Asian students saying we're being discriminated against. And when you line up the applications and our credentials and our test scores, numbers, why aren't we getting admitted? Well, because we're doing some other things. Yeah, you were. And then Yale ended up in front of the Justice Department under Biden.
Yeah.
Harvard's heading for the same place. And Harvard is absolutely in the wrong here. And now you've got, I love Linda McMahon. Okay, well, then there's no problem telling us all about your sources of foreign funding and where you're getting it. But you're private.
They do not want that.
Oh,
They don't want to talk about that. And then he's saying, I have filed Section 117 reports for decades. Okay, we're not asking if you filed Section 117 reports for decades. We're asking if you can identify all the sources on all Section 117 reports? Or maybe did you not file all of the reports you're supposed to?
This is not good for Harvard because when discovery comes, by the way, this is Scott Jennings, the CEO of CNN, having a conversation with Jamil Hill. Is that Jamil Hill? I want to say correctly.
Yes.
Watch this exchange about Harvard and look what her logic is. Go ahead, Rob.
Auditioning for
So you admit that you want universities to exclude everyone with a
No,
radical
because
right.
there's no proof that they're actually being excluded.
There's
Because if
not?
that, no, there isn't.
96% of contributions from Harvard faculty went to Democrats. What else you got?
Okay, so you talking about contribution. I'm talking about
I'm talking about what people's
who's
political
on campus,
viewpoints are.
who is teaching
Stop
people.
it. How
So
you
if they-
contribute
I
is
know.
what you
I didn't
teach.
there. Believe me. I
Okay,
know.
so clearly you
there.
used to teach there, right?
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
I was treated like an exotic zoo animal. Trust me.
Oh, I'm sure.
The faculty,
I'm sure.
faculty is not conservative. Believe me.
Oh, okay. So at Harvard, I just imagine all of these conservative politicians that go there. They go there because they don't feel welcome. They just go there to go there.
If you're trying to come on here tonight and argue that Harvard is a hotbed of conservatism,
I'm not. I'm just saying that they're not. So are we going to do the same thing at Baylor? Are we going to do the same thing at Liberty? Are we going to invite more liberal thought to those universities?
I think if public universities or any university taking public funds is violating the civil rights of Jewish students or actively screening out conservatives and conservative viewpoints, we need to have a conversation.
Boom. By the way, so let me tell you what happened with me. I got accepted into this program with Harvard called OPM, Owner President Management Program. And I went in 2015. And I'm excited. So we get an RV and we, get the RV out there. It's me, Mario, and Paul, okay? And while I'm there, the experience was a great experience because the attendees that are there. But guess what day it falls on? What? It falls on the day because you'd be in jail. Debate.
What?
This is
what a
2016
timing.
Trump versus Hillary.
That's
you're saying.
right.
Almost 10 years ago.
I am in the Chow Hall. Chow Hall is what it's called because a man named Chow gave $100.
Not military Chow Hall.
Not Chow Hall like military.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
man said, go to Harvard, type in Harvard Chow Hall.
Chow Hall.
Like Mr. Chow, the
CHAO.
restaurant?
Yeah. Brother Chow. But it's CHAO. Chow Hall. Chow. Oh, Rob. Chow Hall. Chow Hall. Oh, Rob is not going to get it. Ruth Chow Center? Okay. Anyways, it's a place where we're eating food. So they say everyone's going to watch the debate in the Chow Hall by the stairs. What do? I go. Okay. And keep in mind, this isn't at a time where we're doing PBD Podcast. This is 2016. We're not doing PBD Podcasts. We're not doing any of that stuff. And I'm there and I sit and watch everybody. I don't make a single noise. Vinny, do you know how many people out of the 300 people in the room rooted for Trump once? Do you know how many people? Zero. You know what's the next thing I did? I went straight to the administrator. I said, can I ask you a question? Do you guys like debate here? Of course we do. How come all of you are for Hillary? No, we're not. I said, tell me one person here is not for Hillary. Go ahead. You know me when we go to Chops, I'm going to bring up the conversation.
yeah.
So tell me, how come none of you guys are rooting for Trump? You don't like, he's not a good guy? Is that what it is? So all of you guys know what's right for the rest of us. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I said, I can't come back to Harvard again. Why? Because you guys don't believe in debate. This is not a place where you guys believe in debate. This is a place where you guys want to brainwash everybody to think the way you think. This is not a place where you welcome debate. You all look down at people like me. You all look down at people like us who have a different opinion on what can happen, right? And Harvard's going through it right now. I'm telling you, if Discovery opens up, it is going to be horrible for Harvard. Adam.
Well, this is a shock to nobody. I mean, what percentage of university professors lean liberal versus conservative? I think it was 13 to 1.
13
It could
to
be
1,
even
yeah.
higher at this point.
13 to 1?
Yeah.
For every
and
one conservative, 13 is liberal.
Yeah, there's actually a new report out there that could be as high as 28 to 1. Harvard studies indicate that over 80% of Harvard faculty identify as liberal. Only 2% identify as conservative, which is 18%.
Is that according to ChatGPT?
This is according to ChatGPT.
Can you tell Rob to ask this question?
Yeah.
Because ChatGPT is owned by OpenAI. What question did you ask, by the way?
I said, what percentage of university professors are liberal versus conservative? And then find out what Harvard was. Howard is a different university. But nobody's shocked to hear what's going on here. And, you talked about the hotbed of this type of mentality. Harvard is the
Wow, look at that,
tip of the spear with this. Yeah.
Go a little lower,
So-
Rob, and then ask specifically about Harvard.
Yeah, it should maybe pop down over there, asking about Harvard. But it says high as possibly 28 to 1.
33 to 1 ratio?
Yeah. So
Oh my God!
I'm not in
No
favor
wonder why
of
they're
government overreach or the federal government stepping in here, but when you have a massive monopoly, what's the definition of monopoly? Over 50%, over 75% of market share, whatever it is. This is 98, 99%.
By the way, what's
of
very
university
liberal?
professors.
Adam, what's very liberal?
Socialist.
Woke,
Communist.
Social, yeah.
Like you think Hamas should run the country somehow, something like
Gotcha.
that. So like the guy that's running against Cuomo in New York.
2.5.
But I remember when we were researching Harvard, when Claudine Gay and the university professors were getting grilled by Elise Stefanik, and I was like, what the hell's going on here? And Harvard, there's a it's called FIRE, like Freedom Index of find that freedom of speech. Harvard was the least free university for free speech. Harvard. It's called FIRE Free Speech Rankings. Here you go. FIRE 2024 College Free Speech Rankings. Harvard University received a score of 0, placing it last among the 251 universities surveyed. The score is considered
Can't wait to go there.
abysmal and significantly lower than average. Harvard's actual score was negative 10, which is rounded out.
What does negative mean?
Meaning like
Suppressive.
suppressive.
That's
so
the word.
when PBD tells the story about he went to Harvard and everyone was against Trump, everyone was rooting for Hillary. This is no longer.
And by the way, Adam, keep this in mind. Everyone in the business department. Do you understand? This is not poli-sci or law.
This isn't liberal arts.
In business.
Yeah. Insane.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the East Coast liberal elites and their ivory towers, Harvard is center stage for that type of mentality. By the way, there's a trickle-down effect, whether it's Stanford, whether it's Cal Berkeley, whether it's GW, whether it's Columbia in New York, whether it's GW. This type of mentality is now pervasive. So now we have adults who are going to send their very smart children, like Tom Ellsworth, should I go and send them to Harvard? Should I send them to Stanford? Or should I send them to
Rice?
To Rice. It's like, well, let me actually go to a university that they're not going to come out indoctrinated with basically Marxist
Imagine
ideology.
Tico at Harvard.
It's very concerning.
If Tico was in Harvard, in 3 days you'd get a phone call and be like, he can't. Maybe one day. He wouldn't be able to. I don't know how they do it. And then we wonder why all the youth, a lot of them have lost their freaking minds.
Yeah. I had no idea what was going to happen with the Yetis. I had no idea. When our team said, Pat, they're not going to last, like this, all of it was gone. Next thing you know, we were swamped by messages of, Pat, can we get additional Yetis to do collaboration with Valuetainment and Future Looks Bright? The next one is here. Now, keep in mind, these will go very fast. Rob, if you want to play this clip, we got different ones. These are based on what many of you guys asked. This is the Future Looks Bright Yeti, whether it's a pink one, whether it's the red one, whether it's the Tiffany blue or the white. These seems to be, this one seems to be, it's sick. It's absolutely sick. Yeah, or even a smaller one that you got. And on top of this, Rob, if you can also go to the website, there are, I think it's 10 coolers that we got. A couple people asked for
Only
coolers.
10?
I just got 10 of them. We're like, let's just see if there's a market
I
for it.
guarantee you that they'll be gone before we're
They
done with the
asked,
episode.
I said, let's get 10
Those
and
are
let's see how it does.
sick.
Look at that. Look how sick that is with Future Looks Bright right on top of it.
So badass.
So VTmerch.com, go place your order. Be the first to get it because these things will go very quickly. Again, it is limited supply and they're absolutely sick. When you go to work and you have this Valuetainment logo and the Future Looks Bright, it looks insane. Okay, again, go to VTmerch.com, place your order with the Yeti collaboration.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.